Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Guardians franchise here on MLB The Show 22. We have made it to the month of May, and so far we're off to a pretty good start here in year number 4 with a record of 21-11. We went through pretty much all of April in the last episode, and I think right now the team is in a pretty good spot. But if you remember last year, we were great in the first month of the season, and then we were very inconsistent throughout the rest of the regular season. Obviously, we won the World Series, and it all worked out. But just because we're 10 games over 500 now and we have the second best record in all of baseball doesn't mean that's going to stick. So we've got to continue to play well here leading into the summer months. I think the offense so far has been the strength of the team. We're really hitting the ball well. The pitching has been not as good, put it that way. The big storyline has been the back end of the rotation, some of the new faces we've added there. And then our shutdown bullpen, or at least shutdown last year, has taken a slight step back. So hopefully the bullpen can get going and the back end of the starting pitching can improve. And I think we're really going to get some answers here today as we get through pretty much all of May. As I really dive into our May schedule, we are really not playing many good teams. We're not facing off against anybody over 500 until the Red Sox right at the end of the month in Fenway. So we can really win some games with series against teams like the Rangers, the A's, the Royals, and the Twins, who are all towards the bottom of the standings. So as I did some simulating, we've got a pretty big trade here. Jesse Winker going from the Reds to the Padres. That's a pretty good return for Cincinnati. They got two pretty solid young pieces. We ended up getting offered a trade from the Dodgers, and it's a really interesting one that I almost accepted. So they want Humberto Guzman, who's a pretty good relief pitching prospect, in exchange for Brusdar Graterol, who has not allowed a single run all season long. Obviously, our bullpen has been a little bit disappointing. So I think a guy like Graterol could make a lot of sense. I want to hold on to Guzman. I like him, although he has struggled so far in Double-A. But Graterol is going to be a name we watch out for. So we simulated 15 games, and we ended up going, I believe, 10-5 in that span, which is pretty solid. We still had the second best win percentage in baseball. And if you look at our offensive statistics, we're first place in pretty much every major category. Batting average, hits, home runs, walks, slugging, on base. We are first in just about everything. The offense right now is dominating. 2 of our 3 batters are in the MVP race, with Ketel Marte in second and Jose Ramirez in third. The pitching has been spotty, although Hunter Green is still dominating. He is in second place for the American League Cy Young, so he is still pitching really well. Tristan McKenzie's starting to pitch a lot better too, but John Means is still struggling, and Daniel Espino really is not doing all that well. So we're actually going to make a roster move, sending Espino down to AAA. We've got some guys in the minors doing really well right now, in particular Michael McGreevy, who has earned an opportunity in the big leagues, so he will be placed in the rotation for now, hopefully fixing some of our starting pitching problems. But look at the bullpen. Outside of Clase and Nick Sandlin, everybody has taken a massive step down from last season. We were hoping that Aaron Bummer, who we signed in free agency, was going to be a spark in the bullpen, and he has been anything but. Last year, he was horrible with the Nationals, and we were hoping he would sort of revitalize his career. That has not happened, so he's going to go to AAA, and Alex Vesia, who is not allowed a run yet all season, will replace him in the pen. So I wanted to simulate to this series against the Twins to face off against them. But before that, I do want to quickly talk about our minor league teams. The Double-A team is second in winning percentage, and the Triple-A team is first. So our minor league teams are balling right now, and there are a couple of players I really want to talk about in specific, including the outfield prospect Elliot Ramos, who now has a potential, which is pretty exciting. He has been in and out of the majors for the past 3 seasons, and I wasn't really convinced on him being a long-term piece going into the season because we're so crowded in the outfield, but if this keeps up, then maybe he can be. There's also Alvaro Pena, who we drafted in the first round a few years ago. He's playing really well right now in AAA, and if he keeps this up, he's going to be called up pretty soon. It's just a matter of whose spot he will take in the big league lineup, because at this point, I do think he is ready. We're going to simulate to this last game. We lose the first 2, which isn't ideal, so we're trying to avoid the sweep. But I picked this game in particular because it is the big league debut for Michael McGreevy, which should be pretty fun. McGreevy was acquired in the Season 2 offseason, along with Mason Wynn, who made his Major League debut last month. in exchange for starting pitcher Aaron Savale with the St. Louis Cardinals. Savale has actually done really well since the trade, so I think that move has honestly been a win-win for both sides. Savale's improved in St. Louis, and we've got two young pieces who are now major league contributors. So McGreevy coming out for his big league debut in 7 AAA starts. He went 6-1 with a walk to strikeout ratio pretty much at 2-1. 2.92 ERA, 1.28 whip. Really, really good stuff. He's been a guy who's been on my radar to be a big leaguer for a little while now, and I do think he has definitely earned the opportunity to come up. And if he pitches well, he can keep that number 5 spot in the rotation, but he's got to perform because there are other guys in the minors pitching well. Here's a look at both lineups. Jesus Sanchez and Dansby Swanson are both getting the day off for the Guardians as Michael McGreevy gets ready to start his performance. And his first batter will go down looking. That's Lucas Mason, who strikes out looking at a changeup right down the middle. So McGreevy's first out is a strikeout. That'll bring up Ian Happ, who Minnesota signed in the offseason, as McGreevy's going to have to make this play to get through the inning, and he will. 1-2-3 inning for Michael McGreevy. Pretty good start for the young 24-year-old right-handed rookie. As we go to the bottom of the first and take a look at the veteran right-hander Nathan Eovaldi starting for Minnesota. 2-4, 4.91 ERA. He's been pretty blah this year. He's been a guy who's been a solid major league contributor for over a decade now. Had some really good runs, including being a big piece in Boston's World Championship team a few years ago as he faces off against Zane Rowley, hitting leadoff, and Rowley draws a walk. Zane Rowley really struggled in the month of April, and I was a little worried we might have jumped the gun on him, but he is playing really well so far in May, so I think Zane Rowley is going to be A-OK. Ketel Marte draws a walk, so there's 2 runners aboard here. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez, and he also draws a walk. So the first 3 batters for the Guardians reach base off of walks as Eovaldi loads the bases. One away for Josh Bell, who hits this one high and deep into right center field. Go, Bull, go! It is gone! A grand slam for Josh Bell, and the Guardians lead 4-0. The box score looks weird right now. 4 runs and 1 hit for Cleveland. Bell with his 10th home run of the season. Josh Bell's been a consistent fringe 300 guy, 900 OPS type player since he signed with Cleveland, and he has done exactly that yet again. He's been typical Josh Bell. McGreevy allows a walk early in the second, and then that'll bring up Chiyoko Chakanawara, the starting catcher, who will double into right center. If you recognize that name, that may be because you know his brother, Chuka Chakanawara, the starting second baseman for the Colorado Rockies, who of course played Cleveland and lost last year in the World Series. The Twins are going to look to add 2 runs here, and they do. An RBI single into center field. Really good throw by Jay Allen to nearly get the second runner out. But that's Luis Garcia, who drives in 2, cutting the lead in half. That'll bring up Nick Senzel. The Twins offered Senzel in a trade earlier this season with Cleveland. He gets a base hit. And Michael McGreevy right now looks a lot worse than he did in the first inning, unfortunately. Runners on the corners here for Carson Williams, also making his major league debut today. And his first at-bat is a rough one as he grounds into a double play. Both McGreevy and Carson Williams were both drafted in the first round in 2021. Funny that they're, playing against each other for their debut. Bottom 3, 2 away for Ian Happ, and he will homer into left center field, cutting the lead down to 1. McGreevy was really having a nice inning too, but then that happens, taking away some momentum. And now it's only a 1-run game, but not for long. The following batter, Ragnar Eriksson, will tie it on a solo shot. So the Twins go back-to-back with Happ and Eriksson, his 4th home run of the season. McGreevy looks pretty defeated on the mound right now. That'll bring up Chiyoko Chakanawara. He will strike out looking on the curveball. Another rough inning, though, as McGreevy allows 2 more runs, and this game is tied up at 4, going into the bottom of the 3rd. Josh Bell hit a grand slam in his last at-bat, and he will draw a walk. So another productive AB from Bell, who continues to just be a stable rock in the middle of this lineup. That'll bring up George Valera, who's having a rebound season after being disappointing last year. And Valera is going to hit that one off the wall for what looks like a double. Bell thought about going home, but will hold up at 3rd. Valera is hitting for great average this year, just like he did as a rookie. He's not really hitting for much power like he did as a rookie, but at least the contact is back. Big opportunity for the young shortstop, Mason Wynn, and he will capitalize as he hits it up the middle into center. Both runs will score, Bell and then Valera. So it's a 2-run single for Mason Wynn, and the Guardians lead 6-4. That'll bring up the center fielder Jay Allen, who's had a rough start to the season offensively, and he connects on a ball that'll go into center for a hit. So with Wynn and Allen, two of the newcomers to this team, on base, we'll see if Cleveland can drive them in. With the catcher, Luis Campusano, that one will weakly drop past the glove of the second baseman for a hit. Runners thought about going, but everybody will retreat back to their bases. So Cleveland loads the bases once again. A big opportunity here for Mr. Clutch, Zane Rowley, who hits it well into center, and it will be caught. So the Guardians do score 2 off of a 2-run single by Mason Wynn, but they also leave the bases loaded. Got to assume Michael McGreevy has a pretty short leash as he returns to the game here in the 4th, trying to get something going, but it has mostly been struggles for him since the 1st as he allows a double here into the left field corner over to Luis Garcia, who had a 2-run hit in his last at-bat. Nick Senzel is now up, grounds it down the line. Jose Ramirez got to make a play. What a throw! Jose Ramirez has had some highlight defensive plays this year, and it's funny because last year in the playoffs, he was horrible defensively. Carson Williams strikes out. Good inning from McGreevy, not allowing any runs as Cleveland holds on to their 6-4 lead. Let's go to the bottom half of the inning. The Guardians looking to extend their lead as Jose Ramirez, who leads all of the majors in home runs this year, draws a walk. Jose Ramirez hasn't hit for good contact in a few seasons, but his power seems to be getting better with age. Kyle Lewis is now up. He will strike out. Lewis continues to be great since being acquired back in the offseason from the Mariners, although he's off to a quiet start today. And then Josh Bell hits a high fly ball into right, off the edge of the foul pole and gone. 2-run shot for Bell, his 11th of the year, 2nd of the ball game, and it's now 8-4. Josh Bell has driven in 6 of Cleveland's 8 runs today, really producing well at the plate here with 2 home runs in his first 3 at-bats. So the Guardians are up by 4. Great swing from Bell. And from there, Nathan Eovaldi will be taken out of the game, and he'll be replaced by the long reliever Justice Sheffield, who had some World Series action last year with the Colorado Rockies. He'll face off against George Valera, who grounds out to short, so Sheffield does his job, but still, the offense looks really good so far. Again, Cleveland's offense has been, again, the best in baseball, and they've certainly backed that up here in this game. Lucas Mason opens up the 5th with a hit. I think at this point, you got to take Michael McGreevy out of the game. He has just been getting rocked since the 1st inning. Overall, a pretty rough Major League debut for McGreevy. 4 innings, 4 earned runs so far, as he will be replaced by Camilo Doval, who was, in my opinion, the best reliever in baseball last year. This season, not so much. He's off to a rough May. Currently has an ERA in the 4s as he strikes out Ian Happ, showing that he still certainly has that nasty stuff, particularly on that slider. Looking to go for the slider again. What a pitch as he gets Erickson to go down looking. Doval will retire the side with ease as it remains 8-4. That's the Camilo Doval we all know and love. He just hasn't consistently done that so far this season. Into the 6th inning, Dylan Tate is in for Cleveland. He has also regressed massively from last season now. He's only pitched 11 innings, but that's because in those 11 innings, he hasn't been all that good. He's facing off against Chioko Chakanawara, and he will strike out looking. I know the bullpen hasn't been great this year for Cleveland, but through the first couple innings today, they look really good, as this time it's Jose Miranda who goes down looking on the sinker. Good inning from Tate. We go to the bottom half of the 6th. Justice Sheffield pitching really well right now for Minnesota as he strikes out Ketel Marte, who hits lefties better than anybody in all of baseball. Speaking of lefties, Alex Vesia is in here in the 7th. And it's much of the same from the Cleveland bullpen as he strikes out Carson Williams. So both of the guys who made their debuts today, Williams and McGreevy, did not play well, as Williams is currently 0 for 3. And then Lucas Mason also strikes out looking. The mascot enjoying himself here at Progressive Field as Cleveland still is up 8-4. Kyle Lewis leads off the bottom half of the 7th, currently 0 for 3, having a pretty quiet day at the plate, but he'll finally get a hit as he hits that one into the gap, likely for a double, waltzing into second. So Cleveland starts the inning with a runner in scoring position and a really good opportunity to get the offense back moving because they have not scored since the 4th inning. 2 away, Lewis on 3rd. It's Mason Wynn who grounds out to the pitcher. Good job by Sheffield to get out of the inning without allowing any runs. A great performance here from Sheffield. We'll see if Minnesota keeps him in going into the bottom of the 8th or if they'll go in another direction. It certainly could depend on how their offense does in this upcoming inning against James Karinchak. I don't know if you guys saw Ian Happ was warming up in the field of play. I don't know why, but okay. Karinchak started the year off slow. He's been playing a little bit better since, as he starts with a strikeout here against Brandon Marsh on the knuckle curve for the first out of the inning. Ian Happ goes down on the fastball. Cleveland's bullpen is just striking out everybody. Minnesota cannot put the bat to the ball right now. Minnesota will go in a different direction on the mound as J.T. Chargois will check into the game here into the bottom of the 8th, facing off against Josh Naylor, who has a .571 average, and that's going to go up even more with a base hit here into left. Naylor thought about going 2, quickly retreats over to first. So again, Cleveland starts the inning here with a base runner against Chargois. We'll see if the pinch hitter, Jesus Sanchez, can drive him in. Sanchez, an everyday starter, got the day off today as he grounds into a double play, swinging at a pitch that he really should not have swung at. Let's go into the 9th inning now. Cleveland up by 4. Nick Sandlin checks into the game. Other than Emmanuel Clase, Sandlin is the only guy in the Cleveland bullpen who's been legitimately good throughout this season, as he starts off with Chiyoko Chakanawara, who will single up the middle into center. Minnesota gets their first base runner since the 5th inning, back when Michael McGreevy was in the game, and it's not going to matter. A couple batters later, the Twins ground into a double play, and this game is over. 8-4, your final. Cleveland wins it. Nobody scored after the 4th inning. Both starting pitchers did not play well, and then both bullpens absolutely dominated. It was kind of weird. It was like after the 4th inning, a flip was switched, and both offenses forgot how to work, but that bodes well for Cleveland since they had the lead at that point. Minnesota couldn't consistently hit the ball after McGreevy was taken out of the game. Their pitching also was suspect as well, particularly Nathan Eovaldi, who allowed 8 runs in less than 4 innings of work. Got to give credit to their bullpen, though. Sheffield and Chargois both shut down the Cleveland lineup. The Guardians did what they needed to, and again, they couldn't hit after the 4th inning, but Josh Bell with 2 homers and 6 RBIs is enough to propel the team to the win. Michael McGreevy did not play well, but the bullpen did. 5 innings from the relievers, 1 base runner allowed the entire time. That is incredible. So shout out to Duvall, Tate, Vesia, Karinchak, and Sandlin for all doing their job. So we're going to simulate up to this series against the Boston Red Sox, who are hovering right around 500. Geez, none of these teams we're playing against are any good. Second baseman Ramon Ramiro is back from injury. He broke his hand in the middle of April, ends up missing a little bit over a month, so he'll return to the big leagues, and Mason Wynn will be sent down to AAA. I thought Wynn did a fine job after being called up, but right now we just don't really need him, so he might as well get PT down in Columbus. Ramiro will return to the lineup, and also we're going to have Zane Rowley start against lefties instead of George Valera. Valera is really struggling right now against lefties, and Rowley is hitting lefties well, so this way Valera can only play against righties, where he has been raking against them. So we did pretty solid during that little stretch. We're now 37-21. McGreevy lost his second start, 5 innings, 5 earned runs, ironically to Nathan Eovaldi and the Twins again. But other than that, the team is doing pretty well at the moment, bringing us to this series against the Red Sox. We're going to play in this first game because I want another excuse to use Hunter Greene, because he is still cooking. Green continues to not just pitch at an all-star level, but again, looks like a legitimate Cy Young candidate in the American League if all of this holds up. And last year, we saw Edward Alzolay go through the first 2 months of the season with an ERA of 2, and then by October, Cleveland couldn't use him because he wasn't good. But I guess it worked out because they used Alzolay to acquire Hunter Greene, who hopefully will not have that same fate. Let's take a look at both lineups of the Red Sox coming into this game, 27-29, right around 500, fighting for a playoff spot in the American League wildcard race. Ryan Wilcox getting the start for Boston, 4-3 record, 3.57 ERA, 1.38 whip. Nothing crazy, but overall, pretty strong numbers. He's having a good season. Facing off against Josh Bell here, hitting in the 2-hole today as Bell hits this one nicely in a right field. Back at the wall, it is gone. Josh Bell homered twice in the first game of the episode against Minnesota, and he starts off strong here at Fenway Park against the Boston Red Sox with his 13th home run of the season, taking advantage of the short porch out in right field. So Cleveland leads this one 1-0. Ketel Marte still hitting .349. He continues to be Cleveland's best player, and he's been their best player, in my opinion, for multiple seasons now as he doubles into left center field. So Marte is on scoring position with 1 away. Something I've noticed about this Cleveland team is they perform really well in the first inning of games. They know how to set the tone offensively. They're continuing to do it here with a Jose Ramirez walk. So now there's 2-1. 2 away here for George Valera, who, as I said earlier, is hitting righties really well this season, although he strikes out on the high fastball. Good job by Wilcox to get out of the jam, but he does allow an early run to Josh Bell as we go to the bottom half of the first. The Guardians traded for Hunter Greene in the offseason from the Reds, and Greene has not looked back in his second chance opportunity with a new team. He has been fantastic. 2.6 ERA in 11 starts this season as he faces off against the veteran shortstop Xander Bogaerts, who will single into center. Bogaerts now with his 1,800th hit of his major league career, and he's only 32 years old. So, I mean, there's a real shot that he could hit some milestones at the end of his career. Trevor Story strikes out. Good pitch by Greene. Nobody scores here in the bottom of the first for the Boston Red Sox, and it will remain 1-0 in favor of the Guardians as we go into the second. Josh Naylor getting the start out in left field today, hitting in the 8-hole as he rips it into center field, and it is caught. Oh me, oh my, what a grab by Alexander Canario to make the play. That'll bring up the reigning World Series MVP, Eliezer Alfonso, full count, strikes out on the running fastball. Good pitch by Wilcox, a 1-2-3 inning for the Sox, and it remains 1-0. As we go to the bottom half of the second, Anthony Rizzo is up in his second stint as a Red Sox. He started his career here, fun fact, as he will strike out. Good pitch by Hunter Greene, now facing off against Tristan Casas, and he will hit this one nicely into left center field as it does a one-hop off the monster for a double. So Casas is aboard in scoring position. We'll see if the Red Sox can look to tie the game up or do some more damage, as that'll bring up Nomar Mazara. Man, Red Sox fans must love the opportunity to yell Nomar once again as he grounds out to second. Good play by Ramon Ramiro. Again, not a great defender, but that was a really nice play. And unfortunately, it's not going to matter because the Red Sox are still going to drive the run in. Rougned Odor will double into right center field. Good throw out there from Jesus Sanchez, but it won't matter as that drives in a run, and this game is tied up. An opportunity for Cam Gallagher to give his team the lead. He will not, but he draws a walk. So now there's 2-1, 2 away for Alexander Canario, who also draws a walk. Hunter Greene really not pitching all that well right now as he loads the bases. Robert Nordstrom is up for Boston, and he hits this one into left field. Naylor after it at the track, and it is caught. So the Red Sox score a run, but they also leave the bases loaded. Felt like they could have done more there as we go to the third. 2 away for Ketel Marte, who hits a moonshot into straightaway center field. A no-doubter for Ketel Marte. And the Cleveland Guardians take a 2-1 lead. Ketel Marte has just got one of the most effortless swings in all of baseball, and he has been one of the best offensive players in the game for a little while now, and it's looking more and more like that trade that Cleveland made to get him in the Season 1 trade deadline has been a fleece. Trevor Story strikes out looking. He thought that was a walk, but the officials behind the plate say otherwise. Hunter Greene pitching a lot better than he did in the second inning as he will walk Anthony Rizzo. Green's got to calm down here with the walks. His control really hasn't been there, and because of that, his pitch count is starting to creep up, already at 63. Inning will come to a close with a strikeout here on Tristan Casas. It's not a bad inning. Green walks a batter, doesn't let anyone score, and the Cleveland Guardians hold on to a 2-1 lead going into the fourth. Kyle Lewis up for the Guardians, and he will nearly rip the pitcher's head off for a base hit. Kyle Lewis's average has kind of gone down a little bit throughout the year. He's still hitting around 270, which is really solid. But his power really has not taken a step down. He's consistently hitting home runs. He's hitting for extra bases. He's been a great pickup from the Mariners. Ramon Ramiro will single into left. Good to see him back playing well still. His average in the 370 range, albeit small sample size, only around 50 at-bats. So now there's runners on the corners here. 2 away for Eliezer Alfonso, and he hits this one pretty well into left, but it is caught. Cleveland will not score anybody. Both teams have alternated runs today. Cleveland got one in the first. Boston got one in the second. Cleveland got one in the third. Does that mean Boston's going to get one here in the fourth? Well, not if Hunter Greene has anything to say about it, but Nomar Mazara will lead the inning off with a base hit, so he is on first and nobody out here for the Red Sox. We'll see if they can drive him in, as that'll bring up Rougned Odor, who had an RBI in his last at-bat. Not going to get one here as he strikes out on the fastball, 96 miles an hour. Good pitch by Hunter Green. Now facing off against the catcher, Cam Gallagher. Grounds it to Green. Cleveland can turn 2. 1-6-3 double play. Good work by Hunter Green in the Cleveland infield. And through 4 innings, Hunter Green has only allowed 1 run. That second inning was pretty rough, but other than that, Green is off to another great start. Top 5, Jesus Sanchez draws a walk, so he will lead off the inning as a base runner for Cleveland. That'll bring up Josh Bell as Wilcox's pitch count is starting to get quite high, now at 88. 1-2 pitch on its way, and he gets plunked. I've been saying this for a while now, but I think Josh Bell has some sort of magnet on him. I feel like he gets hit by pitch like every other game. It's ridiculous. So from there, Wilcox is taken out of the game. He'll be replaced by Brian Mata, who in 21 appearances as a rookie has been pretty solid. Runners on the corners, 1 away for Jose Ramirez. Hits it well into left center field over the Green Monster for a 3-run shot. And Major League Baseball's home run leader adds another one. Jose Ramirez now has 20 home runs on the season, and we are still in the month of May. He is on pace for some big power numbers. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. 5-1 now your score after the 3-run shot as Alexander Canario leads off the inning for Boston with a double off the top of the Green Monster. So he is in scoring position. Nobody out. Great opportunity for the Red Sox to drive in a run as Robert Nordstrom goes down looking on the curveball. Good pitch by Green to get the first out. Got to assume this is Green's last inning. Yeah, I think this is definitely his last inning, as with 2 away, Trevor Story homers into deep left field over the Green Monster for a 2-run shot, and the Red Sox cut the lead in half. Story with his 7th home run of the season in year 4 of a 6-year deal he signed in the winter of 2021 after leaving the Rockies. Anthony Rizzo goes down looking. Not a bad inning for Boston. They allow 3, but they get 2 back off the homer by Trevor Story. 5-3 your score. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th. Nick Sandlin is in relief of Hunter Green. Sandlin's ERA continuing to go down as it's a 1.93. Really playing at an all-star level right now. He's been their best non-closing reliever as he strikes out Noma for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Rougned Odor. 1-2 pitch on its way. He goes down on the fastball as well. So just like the Twins game, Cleveland's bullpen looks unhittable. Darwinzion Hernandez checks in here in the 7th for Boston. He has a 9.17 ERA, really not pitching all that well. We'll see if the lefty can pitch better here as he would retire the first 2 batters. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez now, who belts it down the line. Going to be a close play at first, and he is safe. So it's an infield single for Jose Ramirez. They don't call it an error. I think that's a right call. It wasn't a bad defensive play. So Ramirez gets credited with a base knock. Kyle Lewis is up, and he goes down looking on the sweeping curve. That hanging pitch was up in the zone. He really should have capitalized there and could have done some damage. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th. Camilo Duvall in for the Guardians. Hasn't been pitching great this year, but he has been a little bit better in recent weeks, trying to recapture the form he had last season, trying to show off that filthy slider once again as he strikes out Robert Nordstrom. Another 1-2-3 inning from the Cleveland bullpen as we go into the 8th. Doug Bridges is now in for Boston, facing off against fellow lefty George Valera. Going to be a close play, and he is safe. George Valera is hitting sub-200 against lefties this year, but he will get an infield single despite a really good defensive effort by Trevor Story. That'll bring up Ramon Ramiro, the lefty killer. Didn't necessarily kill that ball, but it will go for a single. And the runner will advance to third, so there's now runners on the corners. Ramon Ramiro hitting nearly 500 against lefties this season, but against righties, he's hitting over 300. He's been great. That brings up Zane Rowley, who hits this one high, deep, and nearly gone. It'll go over the fence for a double. If not for Boston's center field being pushed back, that would have been a home run. So now there's runners on second and third. Sanchez intentionally walked. So now the bases are loaded for Josh Bell, who already had a grand slam today. This is not quite a grand slam. Instead, it's an inning-ending double play. The Red Sox went for the intentional walk to get a forced out at all 3 bases, hoping for a ground ball. That's exactly what happens. Bottom 8, James Karinchak in for Cleveland, another guy who started the season off pretty poorly, but has been doing a lot better since. Xander Bogaerts will start with a single here into center. Cleveland's only up by 3. This game's not over, so the bullpen has to continue to pitch well. Tristan Casas is up 2 away. He goes down looking. So after allowing a leadoff hit for Bogaerts, Karinchak gets through the rest of the order, no problem, and we go to the 9th. Hunter Harvey is in for Boston, a former prospect of the Baltimore Orioles, as he faces off against Ketel Marte. 2 for 4, the homer and a double! If this one stays fair, it's another homer. From this angle, it looks foul, but it is fair. So it's a home run, sick bat flip from Marte, his 16th home run of the season, his second home run of the ball game, and it's now 7-3, as Ketel Marte continues to be one of the 3 to 5 best offensive players in baseball. Jose Ramirez also right up there with him as he beats the shift for a base hit. If not for the shift, that's a routine ground out, but because Boston had their infielders shifted to the left side, Ramirez is aboard, and I think Boston might really be kicking themselves for that as Valera doubles into left field. Ramirez safe at third, so there's 2 runners in scoring position, 1 away as Cleveland looks to put a nail on the coffin in this game, and it's Zane Rowley who had a pinch hit RBI double in his last at-bat, and this one will once again drop. Zane Rowley, Mr. Clutch, continuing to get big-time hits with runners on base as he drives in a run on the single, making it 8-3. So it's not a save situation, but Emmanuel Clase was already loose in the bullpen because Cleveland was anticipating it would be a save opportunity. So he pitches the 9th anyway. 1-2-3 inning. Usual Clase stuff as Cleveland wins it by a final score of 8-3, taking home the first of a 3-game set here at Fenway Park against the Boston Red Sox. Overall, really good win. Pretty similar game to the Twins one in the sense that our starting pitching allowed all of the runs. That's not to say Hunter Green was bad, because he certainly wasn't. But Hunter Green was pretty good. The offense was pretty good. Marte went deep twice. Ramirez and Bell as well. But the bullpen was just unbelievable. 4 innings, 1 base runner allowed. So our bullpen pitched 9 total innings in the 2 games that we played today. They allowed 2 base runners. That's nuts. Ryan Wilcox gets the loss. He was fine. I thought Boston's bullpen was pretty subpar. Overall, a good win. The offense was good, the starting pitching was good, and the bullpen shoved. So we're pretty close to the MLB draft, which will be in the next episode. Going to simulate the rest of this Boston series. And we would end up winning the second game. Shout out to Michael McGreevy, his best performance as a big leaguer, although we did lose the third one. So we're 39-22 with draft day coming up. That'll be in the next episode. Normally, like, as you guys know, my draft episodes usually get their own video. But since we're farther along in the series and a lot of these prospects probably won't play at the big league level, we're not going to do something overly special for the draft. We're probably still going to play 2 games in the next episode while also obviously going through the draft. But I'm not going to do a whole highlights thing and cover a whole 20-minute video on it because I don't think the draft is as important at this stage of the series as it was, say, in the first couple of seasons. So that'll wrap up the episode. Hope everyone enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.